Howdy there. It's another video on the ZV-E10. Let's get into it. So I've had this camera for a couple months now, and one of the things that I've been kind of tallying and going over are some of the things that I like about the camera and some of the things I don't like about the camera. To be honest, a lot of the things that I don't like about the camera are just extremely nitpicky and aren't really necessarily extremely detrimental to the whole filmmaking experience, but I guess I just wanted to kind of go over some of the things that I've been liking about the camera and some of the things that I wish were a little bit different, and I will eventually upgrade the camera to another camera. But let's go. Let's do this. So here are the good aspects. The sensor. This is a 4K sensor, but it's actually downsampled from 6K, so it gives a better image whenever you're recording in 4K. Say, like right now I'm recording in 4K, 24 frames a second. This is actually downscaled from 6K. And because of that, you're seeing a lot more definition in the video, and you're seeing a lot more clarity. And because of that, it looks good without it just kind of stretching the pixels. It condenses the pixels and makes them look a little bit better. Another thing, the ability to use the Sony E-mount lenses. And this is a big one because there is another version of this. It's called the ZV-E10, and it's the whole kind of the same kind of basis. It's like the whole vlogging camera that Sony put out, and the issue with that one is it did not have a removable lens. So I think what they decided to do with this is they decided to bring a smaller form factor camera with the ability to integrate interchangeable lens, and a smaller form factor camera with the ability to integrate, more E-mount lenses. I mean, and not only just E-mounts, you're able to use adapters and use like any of the EF mounts or the RF mounts. I think that's the new mirrorless stuff from Canon. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've actually looked at Canon cameras. Another one. The ability to use the different picture profiles that Sony has available. This is really good, especially for somebody who wants to learn how to do all of the color grading. And I mean, that's me. I've talked about it before. It's fun, nerve-wracking, but fun. This has stuff like S-Log2, S-Log3, HLG2, HLG3, all of the different things to get into Rec 709. There's a lot of functionality to this little camera that are very slept on. It's very slept on. Another one is to turn the camera into a portrait mode, and it actually turns the image with that. I think it changes the metadata. I'm not entirely sure how that works. I'll probably end up looking into it later when I over-obsess about how does this work, because that's what I do. I over-obsess about things, and then I learn every single thing about them, and it's great. Another really, really cool thing about this is it's like the Sony A6000 series. It's very, those are really compact, really, really well done mirrorless cameras. This kind of takes it a little bit further and makes it a little bit smaller. And because of that, it's a lot easier to carry around if you want to use it as like a point and shoot. Honestly, if you have big enough pockets, you could probably put it in your pocket. If you had maybe a pancake lens or the kit lens. And because of that, it's going to kind of be a good camera to carry around and use it for vlogging. I mean, I guess that's the whole reason that it was created, was for the whole vlogging thing. You know what I'm trying to say. In my opinion, one of the best aspects about this is it's inexpensive. A lot of Sony cameras come in at like $999 and above. Like if you wanted to get like an A64,000, I think you can find one for about $899 without a kit, without a lens. And with this one, I got it with the kit lens for about $799, maybe a little bit less. I can't remember exactly how much I spent, because at that point I was just kind of wanting a camera, and I kind of forgot how much it would cost because I started investing more into the rigging and everything like that. Sorry, I just started really explaining myself, and I realized that I didn't need to do that. Now comes the not so good aspects. Again, this very nitpicky. This is very much so, it's like stuff that I wish they would include, but I understand why they didn't, to keep the cost down. So one of the first ones is it's not weatherproof. Like the A64,000, the A63,000, the A6600. Well, yeah, even the full frame cameras. It's like they're all weatherproof. They're all meant to be used outdoors. And if you have a weatherproof camera, what it's going to do is it's not going, if it gets a little wet or gets a little bit of sand in it, it's not going to completely ruin it because there's not a lot of spaces for it to get into. With this one, the build quality is a little bit less because they wanted to keep the cost down. Again, I understand. I'm good. I'm not mad about it. A little disappointed, but that's just between me and Sony. Again, like I said, this is all just me complaining. It's not full frame. Like, I love the crop sensor, but at one point I was not going to buy anything unless it was a full frame. And then I kind of just caved because I needed a camera, and we're here. Yeah, I don't like the fact that they use micro HDMI. I get why they're doing it because it's a small camera, but micro HDMI is one of the most delicate ports for any video that's ever been put out there. There was a Linus video put out not that long ago that was him just replacing the micro HDMI on his I think it was his A7S III, and I wish they could have found another way, but I understand why they didn't. So this camera, here's the next one. This camera does have stabilization, but one of the biggest drawbacks to that stabilization is the fact that it takes in like a 30 to 45% crop on top of the 1.52% crop that's already there because it's an APS-C sensor. So right now I have a 16 millimeter on my camera, and it's more like a 21 millimeter with the APS-C crop, but I also put the stabilization on, so it's more like, I'd probably say close to 35 millimeter. So right here, this is close to a 35 millimeter lens, just chilling there. And it's probably an arm's length away from my face. Mind you, again, this is a 16 millimeter Sigma lens, so yeah. It's not as zoomed in a lot. So next is the color. This is an 8-bit color camera. A lot of the newer cameras that are coming out for most of these manufacturers, whether it be Nikon, whether it be Canon, whether it be Sony, a lot of the higher end stuff has been 10-bit, and 10-bit looks a lot better. Different picture profiles like S-Log3, it kind of varies from its other counterpart in the fact that it doesn't get as much like high dynamic range as you would get from something like the HLG3 format, and because of that, I end up shooting in the HLG format, so I can get all of the more accurate colors. I'm not that good at any of this yet, so basically it's just going to be, I know once I get more and more and more in tune with editing and all of that other stuff, it'll become more apparent the difference between 8-bit and 10-bit, but right now this is perfect and this does everything that I want it to do, and it's beautiful and I love it. So again, this whole video was just a little bit of the things that I've been really enjoying about the camera, a little bit of the things that I wish they could change about the camera, and a lot of the things that I just, it's a camera and I love it. That's pretty much all there is to it. So, if you enjoyed this, if you were having fun, go ahead, do the whole like, comment, subscribe thing. I actually started streaming on YouTube. Well, also YouTube and Twitch. So if you want to come and check me out, I'm usually on about 6:30 on Tuesdays on YouTube, and 6:30 on Twitch on Thursdays. So yeah, if you want to pop in, come say hi, like, comment, subscribe, do the whole thing.